So hey people, listen up, I've got a story to tell. Goes back to an old friend of mine, a net runner whose name I can't say on air for reasons of personal and global security. And she once told me that she knew the real origins of the net. As friends, she's been around. She started running back before the data crash, when the deep net was open to all. She survived the crash, dodged the rabbits, persevered through the NetWatch purchase, and watched Blackwall go up with her own virtual eyes, and she's not one to make up fairy tales. So why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because what she told me seemed unbelievable at first. So she tells me after a bottle and a half of Joe Teal, Mike, she says, the net isn't what it seems. She continued by asking me a question. Why do you think Artmos named them demons anyway? Because that's what they are. Raish didn't invent the net, he discovered it. She looked me dead in the eyes and she said, the net is hell, and Bartmoss opened the door. So over the next few hours, she lays out her case. She talked about the symbols between, how'd she put it, hyperfractus stratified computational data synthesis and the practices of the legendary Scholomance. She said that NetWatch has its origins in the Vatican and that the Blackwall sings in Aramaic. Now listeners, you know I'm a skeptical guy. I don't run every rumor I hear despite what my detractors might say. And I might have kept this one to myself if it weren't for the fact that I've known her for ages and she's not a kook. So what do you folks think? I'd love to hear from some of the runners in my audience. I'm here to listen. So people, we're going to be talking some good news tonight. We're going to be talking about one of my favorite places, the Pacific Northwest. Since Biotechnica took over there way back during the time of the Red, they've been making the forest grow. The spotted owls are nesting again, and I even heard that Sasquatch is back. And if any of you can give me an interview, I'd really like that. But it's not all paradise, folks. There's something else going on. Ever hear of Armillaria solidipes? Probably not. But it used to be the largest living organism in the world, a single fungal growth that stretched beneath miles of the Oregonian wilderness. That was just a century ago. Unfortunately, bioplagues, acid rain, and pollution ended that, and the fungus was declared all but dead by the middle of the century. Well, good news for mushroom fanatics everywhere. It's back and better than ever. Biotechnica's made to return this organism a top priority for their ecological restoration project in the Northwest, and they've got the patent filings to prove it. I checked with the NUSA and EEC patent offices, and Biotechnica's got patents for solidipes for the purposes of soil improvement. Well, that checks out. And biodiversity measurement. Yeah, that makes sense. Hey, but what's this one? Bioinformatic neural simulation. Well, that sounds interesting. I decided this was worth looking into, so I got a friend of mine to give me some satellite images of the area of that fungal restoration. And smack dab in the middle of it is a Biotechnica Black Lab. It's not that strange, except that the place is linked up in a big way. Transmission towers, sat dishes, what looks like even a hardline data fortress. Why all the comms? Well, I think it's because they're out there building an AI made of mushrooms. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but why not? It's been known for a century that mycorrhizal networks are capable of processing data, similar to our data digital networks. And a construction like this would let Biotechnica fly to the NetWatch restrictions on AIs, because no one wants to end up like IBM. But what I still don't know, listeners, is what that AI would be for. Cryptoanalysis, net weapon, genetic simulation. So, if any of you are planning to take a trip up north, do me a favor and flip over a few logs and let me know what you find. I'll be interested. Alright, listen up people, I've got a public service announcement. It's about the scourge of our age, that chrome nightmare that you know as cyberpsychosis. It seems we can't go a day without some boosted lunatic tearing through a crowd of bystanders. The story I've always heard is that it's a psychological condition, a kind of dissociative violence. But is there more to it? What if cyberpsychosis is intentional? I once heard a theory that I think merits some thought. An old friend of mine used to say that he thought the biggest manufacturers had got together a long time ago and agreed on a baseline failure rate for certain devices. Bad code,